Elephants. What in God's name? Okay, what the hell is happening over at Nvidia? Like, Jensen Huang just had his keynote, and he was probably the most unhinged that I've ever seen ever in any sort of media that I've ever seen him in. Whatever, big exaggeration of shit. I'm not even exaggerating, I guess. First things first, let me get things, disclaimers through real quick. This avatar is created by... My finger has erectile dysfunction. This avatar is created by Atomic Beaver. The world I'm recording in is Kirineko's. You can find it on VR chat. I gotta tell you the names. Well, this one is Shoto Universal Hyaenid. Also, I don't have my arrow right now, so if my mic sounds different, or, if my eye tracking isn't existent, or my face tracking, that's why I have that in getting serviced. So, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the release of the 4000 series, because that has been absolute hell ever since it started. First of all, I'm not talking about the 4090. The 4090 is whatever. It's going to be the most expensive thing because it's the best on the planet Earth. Can't really get any better for that for consumer graphics. I mean, unless you buy, well, that's not consumer. 4090 is consumer. But everything else, every other relaunch, really? The 4080 had a giant controversy with the 4080 16 gig and the 4080 12 gig, where, as it turns out, the 4080 12 gig was an entirely different graphics card, and they were going to charge you $900 for it. Was it $800? Regardless, a stupid amount. And then they unlaunched it really close to release, and then they relaunched it as the RTX 4070 Ti. And they only slapped $100 off of it, even though we caught them on their bullshit. Okay, that is one thing. And then the 4070 came out. As it turns out, that's a really underwhelming graphics card, because who cares? It's an 8GB graphics card, which, as we're realizing now, with consoles having better performance for the same amount of money, performance per dollar, than a 4070, which was traditionally a very high class, even in the 30 series, the 3070 was a very high-end graphics card. And it's kind of dead out of release, right? Out of the gate. Because 8GB is not enough to support AAA gaming at even 1080p. Like, I can understand if you did a case for 1440p, right? Because that has higher textures, 4K, higher textures, needs more texture memory, it needs more memory in general, and cache for whatever reason. 1080p! That is something that we've had figured out since 2015. To give you a context, that is 7 years ago. 8. Some people were born before we figured out 1080p gaming, and we probably actually did that even before then, because I'm pretty sure Crysis was the thing, like the very last game released before we figured out, oh hey, we could do 1080p gaming, and then we blew past 1080p gaming, and now we're at the point where we can't do that again. And it's not the fault of the 3070, even though it partially is. It's just that now that consoles have 16 gigs, game developers are optimizing for 16 gigs. And 8 gigs is not 16 gigs. If you have 12 gigs, it's better, but you're still limited. So that whole shabacle happened. Okay. And then the 4060 came out. The 4060 Ti has two separate SKUs. The 12 gig, which automatically makes it more confusing because you're gonna have more graphical headroom with a lower end card with a worse GPU in it, because the 4060 Ti will have a worse GPU but more memory than the 4070, which is ungodly confusing. What the fuck were you thinking, Nvidia? And the 4060 Ti 8 gig is gonna have the same issue. It's $400 for a card that is effectively dead out of the launch, because you can buy older cards that will suit you much better for higher fidelity gaming. You could still buy a 1080 Ti for $300 used now, and it will probably suit you better than the 4060 Ti base, because it just has better memory. Not faster memory, it has more memory. Okay, and they're releasing the 4060 Ti 12 gig at $600, and the 4060 Ti is going to be $500, correction, and the 4060 will be $400. Half $1,000 for an entry-level graphics card. Something that is made to get you going out of the gate. It's not made to be high performance, but it is half $1,000. It is half what an average paycheck is for an entry-level graphics card. And $400 for something dead out of the gate. We already had that happen with the 3070. I have a 3070, and the only reason I can use it right now is because I have patience. Not saying other people don't have patience, but you need patience to work with that fucking thing. Because I bought it for $600, and there are some games that just don't work right. Okay, now they're going to release the 4060, which, God, let's hope that they actually do something good with it. I'm seriously hoping that the 4060, at least as an entry-level $300 card, still a lot, is going to be worth the money. But beyond that, okay, let's get into the keynote, right? Jensen Huang recently had his keynote, and he went off of the fucking deep end. For whatever reason, he was talking about elephants and a graphics card. He compared his 4060 Ti to a PlayStation, which doesn't make any sense, because a $500 graphics card might have more graphical performance than a $500 console, I guess. Maybe. But it is a graphics card versus an entire console with cooling, more design. It has a CPU in it. It has RAM in it. 16 gigabytes of shared memory between the CPU and the GPU. Not only that, it has a fucking CD player. It can access the internet. It has a whole motherboard. A PlayStation and a 4060, a graphics card, are such wildly different products that you can't compare them. And even then, you're comparing something that does one thing at the cost of something that does everything. It's not a good look. And then he came in with the whole motto of the more you buy, the more you save. This isn't Costco. Stop it. Okay. Now we're good. Yeah, we're good now. The fucking... Where was I? Right. And then Jensen started going off about, all this AI shit and whatever, we don't really care. But with the awkward Jensen talking to an AI, talking about, how the AI is not doing well, and then they had a really awkward, cringy moment of Nvidia writing a song that is made through an AI that Nvidia made, talking about how much people love Nvidia. What are you doing, Jensen? And right, the more you buy, the more you save. This isn't Costco. This is a graphics card. These are graphic solutions. And I guess you could talk about the CPUs, right? But who are you talking to when you're talking about the more you buy, the more you save? Obviously, businesses are going to spend more for a product if it means they can have a bigger return on investment. So either you're just blind, right? Because it's been a well-known thing in business for years that if something costs more, but you could get a bigger ROI or return on investment, then you're going to buy it because ultimately it's going to be cheaper. The only people that Jensen would have been talking to where that could have made any sense to say that is consumers. And I'm not saying he was talking directly to consumers, but let's say he wasn't talking to business. He wasn't talking to prospective business owners or graphics, data analysis, whatever. If he was talking to consumers and he was saying, the more you buy, the more you save, that doesn't apply. You keep a graphics card, one graphics card, and you use that one graphics card for years. And then you upgrade when you have a reason to upgrade. You don't buy 37 graphics cards expecting all of the performance in those 37th graphics cards to magically show up on your computer. And again, let's say that he was talking to business investors and he was talking to other businesses and prospective customers that aren't regular consumers. Fucking duh! You buy equipment so you can make more money. That is how business runs. Businesses are okay with spending $100,000 on one thing because they'll get $100 million out of that one thing. Nvidia, Jensen, what does it mean? The numbers, what do they mean? Oh, that sounds like a rant. And I'm not actually pissed off. Well, I mean, I kind of am because I want to upgrade my 3070 because my Vario Aero has been slamming the fuck out of it recently. And I want to get a new graphics card, but I'm not spending $1,200 for a graphics card that should cost $800. That's just not okay. And it's just going to be obsolete in the next, run through anyways, but what the hell is going on in Nvidia? Why the fuck do you need to mention elephants and being so defensive over your pricing? I swear to God, we bullied Jensen into becoming insane. We just bullied a multi-billionaire into crying and shitting his pants. I know he didn't cry and shit his pants, actually, but I'm just being facetious at this point. What the hell? Screw it. If we're at the point where the more you buy, the more you save applies to graphics cards, and we're comparing a 4060 to a PlayStation, why not? I know I just sounded so stupid there. I don't know. It's been crazy in the graphics market. Ever since EVGA left, we should have taken that as an omen, okay? When they left, shit went down. Shit went downhill. I just don't know what to think. On a more serious note, I'm probably going to go whenever I can when Wario ultimately has driver support for AMD graphics. I'm probably going to switch over to AMD as fast as I can because I'm just tired of being with Nvidia. They've done nothing for me. I have a 3070 that I can barely even use at this point. I paid $600 for it. I just don't want to do that again. So I'm probably going to go with a AMD, and if they can get their shit together as well, because it's not like they've been very perfect, squeaky clean, with the 7600, RX 7600. They changed it last minute, which says very bad things about what they were going to do with it. Ironically enough, Intel is probably in the best spot for graphics, because you can buy an A750 for $200 and it fucking smacks down in AV1 encoding. It has more VRAM than every other new card on the market for $200, because there is no other card on the market for $200. It has incredible RT performance, which is kind of funny. And you just get a hell of a card for $200. So Intel's been doing pretty good. And plus, their graphics drivers have been steadily getting way better. AMD has pretty solid graphics now. I just can't support Nvidia. Not when they're this stupid. This is probably one of the less serious, less informative, and less well thought out rants that I've done. I don't really know what else to say. I hope you like the rant. It's negative. It's not a very happy video. Yeah. But either way, if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe if you want. I just hit 600 subscribers, which thank you a lot, by the way. That's actually kind of cool. And I appreciate each and every person who watches this video or any other video. Like I also just released another track yesterday, called it whatever the hell it is. Go ahead and check that out too. I'm pretty proud of it. And, as always, keep living it. See you.